Hello. So now we are here with the minimum setup for our timer. So we're gonna use a minimal setup of byte or beat. I have a friend who said to me that beat was actually a French word, so it should be pronounced beat. So let's pronounce it beat. And hi, Genaro. Gena. He is very he has some strong feelings about it, about bit and byte. Uh, I wouldn't mess with that. But okay, so do let's use the minimal bit template React we can, and we are going to accomplish this by using Windsurf. Windsurf is going to give me some suggestions. I know that in interviews you're not gonna be able to get suggestions, so I don't know if I should disable suggestions. How do I disable the suggestion here? Show disable suggestions. How do I do that? Windsurf settings, suggestions, autocomplete, enable autocomplete suggestion. Okay, so let's do it without this and without this, just for now. Okay, I'm gonna be lazy once this is over and go back to my laziness. So the timer the timer exercise. Why is this a senior problem? These guys as a junior problem, because this proves that you know how to manage the render of your components and how to avoid the unnecessary re-renders and how to handle when there are too many re-renders, because you're going to be using a set interval, and a set interval can be declared a few times if you change a state, the whole component is going to re-render. So the set interval is going to be redefined. So you will have two set intervals, and now it's going to be it's going to be summing one and one and one and one. Instead of one by one, it's going to be two by two, and then three by three. And while you're coding, you're going to be seeing that the counter is going uh it's going like three, four, five. It's gonna be a mess, and the interviewer wants you to get into that mess. Why? Because that's gonna prove that you know uh that you're a senior, like me. I'm the best senior in the world. No, I'm not a senior. Probably I'm a senior, but with imposter syndrome. Okay, so let's say I'm just good at coding React. So I don't know why this is with this says trash. CD timer ls. What do we have here? Okay, so apparently I already had a project called timer, but this is not here. Let's. How do I? Where am I? Why am I in the trash? Okay, okay, this is fine. I'm in the trash. Okay, so let's let's do, yeah, let's go to the home and let's try to, this is probably not going to allow me. No BS. CD, no BS. And let's see if it allows me to use the minimal configuration for the template React for a timer. And it's working. Okay, so we have a folder created. You're gonna need this command here is the minimum the minimum setup for a Bit and React application. So roll down byte is experimental. I don't want experimental shit. With npm and start now. Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay, apparently this should work now. This should work if I give it the correct port, of course. And there we have the okay, so I'm gonna open. I caught that because I don't want you to see my personal folders and uh, files. Privacy, guys, come on. By the way, you're gonna need coffee to make this challenge doable. So okay, so we have our setup, and this is the minimal setup for a byte, sorry, a bit application, and I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this, and I don't need anybody in my life. Okay, not even you guys. No, I'm kidding. I need you. So this is not running. Why is it not running? Because it needs npm roundup, and now it should be running. Okay, it is running, but without anything. Okay. So why this is? I think I already explained this. So let's get to the code. I'm gonna use for uh, for the timer. I'm gonna use seconds. So set seconds. It's gonna be state. Use state. I'm gonna need. I'm gonna make use of use effect. I'm gonna make use of use effect, and I'm gonna make use of use ref, because we are going to do the safest way possible, the safest way to resolve this problem. Not complications. You're gonna be able to explain why you're using, and be calmly telling the interviewer that you need refs because the re-renders can cause duplications on your intervals, and if there are duplications in your intervals, you're gonna have something adding and adding and adding and adding and adding, and at some point you're gonna have a timer that sets seconds plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, and then if it renders plus 11, you get the point. So as we're gonna do this very safe, we're gonna need to use a use ref, and I'm gonna use a use ref for is running, not a state. I'm gonna use a use ref. So is running is equals to use ref, and it's gonna be true. It's gonna start running. The timer is gonna be start. It's gonna start running, and I'm gonna be using a const interval, and the interval is gonna be a ref as well. And if they ask you why in a ref, you're gonna say because I want it to be independent of my renders. And that's the answer that the interviewer wants to hear. And that's the answer that the senior engineer gives. Okay? So you can start as null. Then I'm gonna use just some heading here like h1 timer. Okay, timer. Want to see my timer? Okay, there is my timer. Then I'm gonna use seconds, but there's something I'm gonna use extra, and we're gonna have minutes and seconds, just to make this a little bit more interesting. I don't know if that makes it interesting. I don't care. No, I actually care. Please, uh, click. Uh, what is this? Like it and subscribe and that kind of BS. No BS. That kind of BS the YouTubers say. Okay, so we're gonna need 3 buttons, but first I wanna show the seconds. So there it is, 2 seconds, and minutes. Minutes is gonna be here at some point, but we're not yet. We are not there yet. So we need the buttons. So buttons gonna be for start. Another button is gonna be for pause. Another button is gonna be for restart or reset. There we have our buttons. This needs to be in its own paragraph. So seconds. Let's bring it here. Okay. So now we have the setup for success. If they ask you why this is a ref, you're gonna answer because I'm gonna be safe from the re-renders. Okay. Same here. Use ref doesn't give a s about re-renders. It stays the same. That's what it's used for. Also, it is used for the modification on the DOM or listening to the DOM. For example, focusing, blurring, and but this is one of the uses when you need something that doesn't care about the re-renders. So okay, we're gonna do a use effect. The use effect takes a callback. A callback is nothing but a function as passed as a parameter. That's it. When somebody asks you what's a callback is a function as a parameter, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, this guy is senior, hire him. Then we need the dependencies. Something to keep in mind. Ever since I think React 18, the strict mode makes the use effect without dependencies run twice. So I'm gonna say no to strict mode for now. Also in production it is not strict mode, so I suggest you to not have it on your development state, because otherwise you're gonna be having this executed twice even though you don't have dependencies. See where I'm going with this? So now we make use of interval. The userefs have a current value and is mutable. If you think a state is mutable, you're wrong. It's not mutable. It is just replaced by another object or another value. All the time is replaced by new values. It's not mutable. You're not you're not actually changing the state. You're actually assigning new stuff to the state. Okay? So that's why you cannot do seconds equals no, because it's not mutable. But with refs, we have interval current, and that's mutable. That's also another use for use ref. If you need something mutable, I don't know where you will need it, but you can use it. And then we are gonna do the set interval. The set interval is similar to use effect. Weirdly enough, it takes a callback, which what I said. What did I say? A callback is a function passed as a parameter in another function. So you have to know what is a what a callback is, please. Okay, so I want this to repeat every 1,000 milliseconds. 1,000 milliseconds are 1 second. I don't know if you know that. If you didn't, I feel sorry for your education, but that's fine. No, now you know it. Is running. If is running, uh, see what autocomplete does to your brain. Now I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So if is running, we're gonna do set seconds. The right way to use the set for the use state is this way. We use the prep seconds, and we're going to return prep seconds plus 1. This is an implicit return, so it will be the same as doing this. So when you use these curly brackets, you need to include the return. When you see that they're not using curly brackets, you don't need the return, and you're using an implicit return. They're not being lazy, they just know JavaScript uh, ES6, I think this was introduced, or previously, I don't know. But for now, this is gonna be working fine. Look, it is now running. See how it is running? And no matter how many times, no, it matters because it recreates the whole app. So look, this is what you will have if you use state instead of ref. This is happening because I'm clicking save, and save is rerunning the app with hot reload, so you don't notice that it is reloading, but it is reloading. It's not an error. You just need to go here and it goes back to one by one. So we have it works. Now we can create the buttons for our timer. So const handle. It's always a good practice to use handle for buttons as a prefix. Handle start is going to be equals to a narrow function. By the way, another question from an interviewer: what's the difference between a narrow function and a regular function? The scope. The scope is different. So this this has the same scope as the father because it is a narrow function. If this was a const, let's say function handle start, and it wasn't like that, it was like this. This is just this. Okay, it is a good thing to know the difference between uh, arrow functions and functions, not regular functions, uh, because it is not only for your comfort. It has it has its reasons, and as I mentioned before, you will need coffee. I don't know how much, sorry, amount of coffee you will need, but you will need it all. And if you're one of those guys who says caffeine is a drug, well, welcome to the drug world. Okay, so handle start, guess what it's gonna do? It's gonna set the sorry about my that was weird, huh? It's gonna set the is running dot current to what? We're starting to true, right? Therefore, handle, what do we have? Pause. Handle pause is gonna be setting it to false. And reset is gonna be setting it to true. It's gonna be setting it to true, but it will also take the seconds, prep seconds, prep seconds. Well, yeah, you can just do this because it's a reset. It's not gonna hurt anybody, I hope. So okay, let's see. It Okay, so if we have a start, it will make sense if we start as false with running. So let's see. Start is not changing. Is running false. Handle start current. If it's running, okay. Start, pause, reset, start. What's happening? Start current true if prep seconds +1. What's happening? Start should be starting it. Okay, first let's see if we actually have. Okay, it is entering into the interval. So it's running. There's something I'm missing. There's something I'm missing. Interval is running, is running, is running. Oh, look at that! That's why this is no BS. That's why this is no BS. That's the reason why this channel is no BS. That's what I wanted to show. I have been coding on React for more than 7 years now, and look at that. I forgot to add an on click in the buttons. Okay, so don't feel bad if you forget about stuff, or if the interviewer, probably the interviewer at this time, will tell me, why do you have buttons? And these are kinda grayed out. Do you see? That means they are not being used. So why are you expecting to click start and start if the button's not doing anything? So that's why this is no BS, because you're gonna be able to see my errors and my mistakes, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. So once you get the interview or the code challenge, you have my mistakes learned. Okay? That's my goal with this channel. No BS. No BS. I'm not gonna be editing my errors. Okay? So on click, what do we need? We need to handle start. So now if we click start, it starts, but it has a problem. It has a problem. If you click on it, uh, if you click on it, uh, if you click on it, more than once, it does something weird. It adds very fast the it is adding too fast for my uh, okay, I don't know what happened there. I think what happened is the thing I mentioned before with the strict mode. But this click, 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 click is not it's not adding another interval. So okay, that's fine. And guess what pause is gonna do? Actually, at this point, you're allowed. You have my permission to do this. Handle pause and on click, click handle reset. Okay. So look, I'm saving. That's what happened last time. I'm saving. And what's happening? This use effect is running every time I save because of hot reload. We're not doing anything wrong. We're just saving, and this is running again. So now we have this. Now we have this. And now we have this. Okay. Now we found a bug. Okay. So handle reset. It is if it is in pause And if you click on reset, it uh, starts. So we should add if isn't running, we don't want it to we don't really want it to to start it, because so start, reset, because it is running. But if we click pause and then reset, uh, this logic is, see how the best make mistakes as well. Running is not running, okay, so then false. Sorry, if it's running, we need it. If it's running, we don't need anything. We just need this to set seconds to 0. See why this is called no BS? Now you get the point. I I have a very good job. I've been working in this industry using all of these frameworks for years. I have mentored people, and I made these kind of mistakes. That happens. Seniors, mids, juniors, everybody f's up. I mean, that's how it is. You have to live with your mistakes. So I promised you that we were gonna have a minute just for the giggles, because that will be very impressive for your interviewer. If this is a timer and you're just uh, if this is a timer and you're just showing seconds, uh, and then you add minutes, he's gonna be like, okay, this guy thinks out of the box. So we're gonna add sex here, okay, and then we're gonna add minutes. How do you determine how many minutes do we have? This is a mathematical question. How many how many seconds are in a minute? How many seconds are in a minute? 60. So we're gonna take seconds and divide it by 60, and it's gonna give us a float number. So we don't want that, okay? We don't want that. So we want it to round. So we use math floor. We use this, and now we have this means 3 minutes and seconds. Remember, every time you edit, it's gonna be added a new interval, so that's why this is not working. So don't freak out in the interview if this is happening to you. Always click on refresh and things are going to be fine. uh, okay, so the timer, I don't know why, but at some point I decided that it should start uh, off at some point. I don't know why, but okay. We don't want to show 0 minutes if there are not minutes. So what we can do is seconds more or equals than 60, then show this, otherwise show nothing. and that goes for you too, means. So let's use some backtick magic here so we can use this. And I would like to have space here and space here because I want my space. My personal space is very important to me. Okay, so we have 0 seconds. Once it gets to uh, 60, we have minutes. I don't wanna wait, so we're gonna start our counter because now we're dealing with minutes, so we want it to start with 58, okay? And now we have 1 minute and 60 something seconds. Is this correct? Is not correct, but there's a trick. Let me see if I can find a drawing a drawing panel. Sketchpad. Can I draw here? I can draw, but it doesn't look great, right? I want. Okay, yeah, let's use this. So we have our seconds, right? We have 100 and it is about to get to 2 minutes. It goes, okay, yeah, we have 2 minutes, yeah. But your interviewer is gonna be like, yeah, dude, but you're showing me hundreds of seconds. Why? Because I'm about to finish, you're gonna say, and shut up. No, don't say that to your interviewer. No, 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 don't say shut up. So, what I wanted to show you is simple math. We have the amount of seconds, my handwriting with the touchpad sucks, so seconds. We have seconds here, and we want to divide by 60. Okay? So we get the minutes. The minutes are gonna be here. See that? See that magical? So what will you do in order to get how many minutes? This. We have the minutes, we have the seconds. But what we really want here is a reminder. The reminder, some languages call it modular. I think it's a math term, but I know it as the reminder of the division. So let's say you have here 121 seconds. Okay, so divide that by 60. You're gonna have 2 minutes because 60 times 2 is 120. And this is going to be a minus. Remember elementary school? So what we get at the end is the result of the subtraction of this minus this. So we care about this. This is the amount of seconds we want to show. Okay? See why I needed to write it down? Because it is kind of confusing, that function. So The way to get there is super easy. Remember, or have you ever used this function to determine if a number is a pair? Uh, if it's odd or even, like num and then percentage and then 2, and if that is 0, that means is even. Why? Because divided by 2 has no remainder. There's nothing left. So it is a pair. So it is divided, divisible, multipliable by 2 without leaving anything behind. So we can do the same here. So the seconds are going to be the remainder of the division, the seconds divided by 60. Let's save that. Remember to refresh so you don't freak out. And there you have the minutes and the seconds. How do you determine the seconds? With the remainder function. Okay? So if you get this challenge, this code challenge is gonna be probably just around seconds, around, let's just see if the buttons work. Yeah, they work. I might be explaining something and doesn't even work, right? So okay, it works. So that's it for today. You impressed your interviewer with these seconds, minutes and seconds, using show him how to do it if you want to, like, stand out of the others. And I hope you like this tutorial. If you like it, please comment, put it in the comments. You say too much BS and this channel says BS, or I like your BS, continue with your BS, whatever. So see you in the next time. Bye.